Okay, Ricky, we're going to try it from my phone since my laptop is just not cooperating. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, there's Terry.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, let me see Tia. There's Tia. Good morning. You know how it is. You can have the best plans and then technology just takes over. And then you go with plan B. Are we good? Well, I can hear them. You guys can hear them. Let me turn my mic.
Yeah, she's on.
Yeah, Tia, I can see you. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay. Ricky, are we okay?
Are you sure you can hear us?
Can you connect to their Wi-Fi?
I'm actually trying it from my phone to see.
Can Cheryl?
Okay, can I connect to their Wi-Fi?
No. USB what? Just D. Connect me to your Wi-Fi.
Man, it's just something. Usually you get one of the devices.
Okay.
Where's your setting? It's just not.
Here, you do this and I'll connect it.
Yeah.
It's on there. If you're in the comfort zone, like I'll just. Mario, what's the well staff password? I know guess, but that ain't show up, so. I got it. Never mind. I got it.
Ricky, is it are we recording?
Not right now.
Okay. I think we can take it from here. Mario has been a godsend.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
Can you set the phone up on a book or something?
Oh, I'm too low? I'm too low? Is that okay?
As high as you can go.
Let's see, a book or case or something. If I can get a, what you got over there, Mario? Well, let me try my purse. It's the computer. The computer isn't working. Oh, he's got a couple of books. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to make it go the other way because it looked like it was just like, ooh. Ready?
Let's talk business. You need to keep your mic.
Oh, this one. I gotta get used to this.
Try not to handle it so much. I have it going out on the we can go ahead.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Give Daryl a cue.
Daryl? He might be. Daryl, if you can put your message in the chat, we're ready to go live. We're ready, Ricky. Five, four, three, two, one. Get ready, get ready, get ready. It's Let's Talk Business with Sherryl Cusseaux, and I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Sally Stone of The Well. She's another sister added to our family. But first and foremost, let me apologize.
Recording in progress.
Our radio listening audience, we have had a number of technical difficulties, and we'll just say that at the offset of the show. To our amazing guests, thank you. They all were able to come on. They all tested positively with video and audio. But we are actually live at 114 Parker Avenue, Lakeland, Florida, at The Well. And if you've not had an opportunity to come over to visit The Well, you must check it out. So here we are, Catch the Show that will be all up in your business. And that's what it's all about. It's Women's Her Story Month, and we're going to be sharing with some phenomenal guests. So get ready. They are inspiring. They are intelligent. They are smart. And you know what? They're loving and kind also. So glad to have you all. Welcome to the show. We'll go ahead and get started. But let me have my co-host who's joining me today tell you a little bit about The Well and this great city of swans that we are in.
We absolutely will do. It is indeed a pleasure to be here with the phenomenal women that are gracing this podcast today.
Yes.
I am so excited, and I always enjoy being in the presence of our host, none other than the phenomenal Miss Sherryl, and also Miss Yvonne, who we're going to hear a little bit, one of my mentors. And so today, I just be fitting being it's Women's History Month to talk a little bit about The Well. The Well is a inspired community engaged space, and its purpose and its mission is to provide a well-vetted, well-watered woman with access to resources. And I believe that that is represented here today. I am just elated to share and hear about what's going on. And I do believe this is going to be one of the best shows that we can have. So I'm excited to be here. I get excited when there's a lot of power. There's energy here.
Okay, did you hear that? There's a lot of energy up here. And women just have the ability to just exude such energy. But that being said, let's talk about these phenomenal guests that we have on the show today. And I'm going to start with, you heard Dr. Sally say she's her mentor. Yvonne McShay is also one of my mentors. As a matter of fact, years ago, she hosted Women's History Month in her home. She allowed all of these women from all over, different professionals. We came into her home. We came in to talk about years. Some were authors, some were mentors, or mothers, grandmothers, and she allowed all of us for almost 3 hours to just talk about these phenomenal women. So I have the pleasure of introducing my mentor. She's no stranger to Let's Talk Business with SJC. She's been on our show a number of times, and that's why she's perfect for us in celebrating Her Story Month. Professor Emerita, Polk State College. She's also very, very smart. She's an educator. She's an author. She's a library advocate, domestic and international traveler. She seeks to be the change she wishes to not be, but see. So as a professor, she authored three books. Our Lakeland, the other end of Florida Avenue. You got to come to Florida Avenue to get well.
Absolutely. I love
Yes. The last are you phrase. Tia, you will love this book. All of which she intentionally taps into the gentleness of the reader's soul. She shares the historical fact that Our Lakeland is the first published book about African Americans in Northwest Lakeland. During the pandemic, she published her fourth book. All of you will love this. My Mama Said.
That's one of my favorites.
There's a lot we can go on and share with you about the lady that when you oftentimes see her, she's always in pink and green. You can guess who her sorority is. So we want to take this opportunity to welcome you back to the show, author emeritus Professor Yvonne McShay. Welcome.
Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome. And what would you like for our radio listening audience to know that perhaps I didn't give a snippet of in your introduction, like mother, grandmother?
Oh, yes. I am the mother of two incredible, outstanding daughters coming from a mother's point of
Okay.
view. And both have advanced degrees. One is a chemist, and the other one is a graduate of law school and is a professor that teaches government. Also, I have an 11-year-old granddaughter that I call Pinky, and she is amazing. And in connection with Women History Month, another thing I want to tell you, my second celebration was with my friend Sally.
It was.
At the well before it became well. It was a boutique. Well Women Boutique. And it was awesome. We had church women there, we had authors, we had
Former students.
in government. And what we talked about was we celebrated women in the Bible. Praise God. And that was a great afternoon. And listen, let me tell you what Sally did at the end. While we were having the presentation, we were in a big circle. It was amazing how Mario transformed that room, which was a boutique, into a studio.
Okay.
And so we were in this huge circle. I didn't know this, but what she was doing, each woman wrote 2 comments about what the event was beginning to mean to them. And
Okay.
at the end, they kept one and she took one and compiled it into a book. Can you imagine a book of women in space, in that special space, saying what we had done, what the Lord had done to move them and how they enjoyed it. And so today that book sits on the bookshelf with other famous authors like Toni Morrison and Maya Angelou and Nikki Giovanni. They're right there because they were all famous writers as well.
Oh,
so
my
that's
goodness.
something you didn't know. I have to share that with you.
Well, I appreciate that. And listen, that's a perfect segue because we have 2 more authors that are joining us. And I'm going to just segue right in to Ms. Tia Young. Tia, oh my goodness. Tia is such a special person because when my daughter wanted to start her ministry a few years ago called Turn Up Your Purpose, she's like, Mom, I need some help. Will you call some of your colleagues and friends to come and see if they will share? And I did. I called 3 of my colleagues and friends, and Tia Young was one of them. Tia, do you remember Turn Up Your Purpose?
Absolutely. It was so much fun. I really, really had a good time there.
So I'm going to tell you why Tia is just so special. She is the founder and CEO of Tia Image and Etiquette LLC. She has been teaching business etiquette and social skills. This seems hard to believe, but for over 20 years. She also enjoyed her roles as the international flight attendant and trainer, ready for this, second grade teacher, modeling coach. We have an educator over here, educators, retail department store manager, networking, organizational launch director, and Miss Mompreneur Queen. She's a graduate of the University of Florida with a degree in communications and is currently pursuing her master's degree in leadership at Southern University. Let's pause right now and give her a round of applause.
Beautiful,
Because
beautiful.
that is quite.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Beautiful, beautiful.
We have all been where you are, and that is a tough, tough road. But I'm going to let Tia share a little more about herself. And the reason I said she's so kind, I mentioned my daughter's, I guess you could say it was her first evangelistic network coaching mentorship. And the venue had a plumbing issue, and my daughter searched the city all night long until she came to a bar. And the manager of the bar said, he said, the space is yours if you can make it work. Of course, she came to my shop, got all of the decor stuff she needed. She covered the Tia can tell you, she covered the chairs, she covered the stage. Everything was absolutely beautiful by the time the guests got there. And she had been up all night long. So Tia came to the rescue. Thank you for joining us on Let's Talk Business with SJC and my co-host today, Dr. Sally Stone. Tia?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure. You know, I've been wanting to get on your show for a while, but then when it happened, I was like, oh, wait a minute. What do I have to say? What do I have to do? You know, I'm always wanting to be prepared because that's what I do for a living, image and etiquette. So I always want to lead by example, but it was such a pleasure. What was that, about 10 years ago when we had that event? And we made it work. We made it work because it really didn't matter the location because all of us made it work because of what we had to share with the audience. So it really turned out well. I had a great time. But a little bit more about myself. I'm a native of Tampa, born and raised. UF, Jefferson High School first, UF. Right, and then retail management. Then I became a flight attendant. I wanted to fly around the world. And I did that for 14 years. Met my husband on the car dealership. I was buying a new car. Met my husband. We've been married almost 23 years this year.
Congratulations.
2 bonus daughters. And they're all adult daughters, 34, 27, and our daughter together is 21. And then 2 granddaughters. The middle daughter has 2 daughters, 2 and 4 years old. So loving life, always growing, trying to grow and be better. That's why I'm back in school now. You know, I don't want to go back and get some more. You know, I'm always trying to learn more, gain more, to be a better person. As long as I'm living, I can always try to be better. So a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. And what a message to share with our radio listening audience. Always strive to want to do more and to be better. Be comfortable where you are. Be comfortable in your skin. But if you look at all of the ladies here, to be able to be better, be our best person. And that's just great. So thank you so much. We want our radio listening audience to kind of get to know the women that we've invited to come on the show today. We're doing that first, and then we're going to do our inspirational round of questions to all of them, because we want you to leave this show totally inspired. And I must give a shout out to Tia. She talks about the modeling, but she really could also be an interior designer as well. She's a person. Yeah, just take a look at her background setting. It is absolutely perfect.
One of the things I want to mention for the podcast audience, but you can also find this show streaming live on the Well's Facebook page. So I invite listeners to go to the Well at Lakeland and find our Facebook page and then share that.
So we are streaming live. This is podcasting and vlogging at the same time. So we're live streaming to the well at the well.lakeland. And if you go there, you can find that link and then you can share it out to other pages so you can have a video version as well. So ladies, you look beautiful. I can tell because I can see what's going out live. And so when we get to that, Mario's pinning different ones to the page. So you sound great, speak up and keep doing what you're doing.
She is absolutely right. And I'll go ahead and add to that. We're streaming live on In Touch News Radio. We're also streaming live on YouTube. And to our radio listening audience and to our guests, you know, we have subscribers all over the US. They're global. So they'll be watching you from all over. Additionally, we're also streaming live on my Facebook page, Let's Talk Business with SJC, and my personal Facebook page. So please, as Dr. Sally stated, like and share. You can comment, you can ask a question if we're able to get to it, but we wanted these inspiring women to really share with you, to pour into you their life experiences. So you've met Yvonne McShay, you've met Tia Young, and now my inspirational devotional leader, author, PhD candidate. And listen, if you all have not tapped into her Facebook page, there's a devotional every morning. And before I introduced her, Ricky, can you bring up Terry Parker's inspirational devotional today? And while you're getting ready to do that, let me tell you a little bit about her. Terry Parker Rowe is the epitome of the Proverbs 31 woman. We're all Christians here. We all know this amazing story of Proverbs 31. She has been married to and the wife of Elder Johnny L. Rowe for it was 38 years, Terry? 36. And then God called him home last year. And so our hearts go out to you. You're an incredible, phenomenal woman. She did not miss a beat. She knew that we needed her and she needed us. So I hope we were all there for you in a very, very, very special, loving way. She's a mother of a prospectus PhD candidate, Jasmine L. Rowe, and Mrs. Genesis L. Rowe Sturgis. Her son-in-law is Reese Thomas Sturgis Jr. I'll let her talk about her adoring and doting grands. But she attends, let's see. He was elder by the late Bishop Newkirk in October 2012 at St. John Cathedral. She is a part of a number of ministries, including one of my favorite, the Praise Team Ministry, of which she's the praise and worship leader. She also serves and is part of the greeters ministry, the ministerial staff, my favorite Sunday school teacher. I think I was a Sunday school teacher as a child. Listen, this PhD candidate, she's done all that she needs to do. Now it's up to them. Welcome to the show, Elder Terry Parker Rowe.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I think you tried to have me on maybe a year or so ago, and there were some circumstances and I was not able to come on, but I am so grateful that I have the opportunity to come on today. Love these ladies that you've already introduced. I've actually followed Tia, even though I didn't know her, but I've followed her work down through the years, and she was young. I'm older, but it's a blessing. And so to hear all of this, I just love it. I love it. My main thing, y'all know me, I'm all about encouragement. And some years ago, it was probably, I'm going to say maybe 14 years ago, my children said, you know what, Mom? I think at that time, my husband had open heart surgery. Young man, had a quadruple bypass. And My daughter came home from school one day and she said, Mom, you're always encouraging other people, but there's nobody to encourage you. And I said, I don't ever want anyone to be without someone to encourage them. And so I started just texting certain people messages. And then the girl showed me, you need to put it on Facebook. You need to go. So I'm reaching, between Facebook, text message, email, and messengers, over 1,000 people per day. And I get up at 3:30 in the morning just to meditate on the word so that I have a word for the people. And as you stated earlier, 5 months ago, my husband went home to be with the Lord. And I mean, such a shock, because we had attended church that day. Everything was normal. And at 61 years old, the Lord saw fit about 10:30 that night, the breathing stopped. We actually went to the hospital, and around 1:30, they pronounced him gone the next morning. And when I came home, I sat in the chair in our room and I cried and I cried and I cried. And I said, about 2 hours later, I said, you know what, God? I said, I still have an assignment and I got to get this message out this morning. It's 3:30 now. And that's the time I get up. I said, so you got to give me a word. I said, but this time, the word is not just for them. I need the word. And I can't remember what he gave me. And I tried to do a week series at a time, but he gave me a word. I got up, I stripped that bed. I said, I'm not leaving my house. Business has to go. Life goes on. I am still grieving. I am grieving. I don't know how to grieve. I don't know what to do, but I'm going to keep doing what I do until the Lord directs me in another area. But I'm grateful for the love, the outpouring of love and support during that week has been amazing. I am speechless. I am overwhelmed, but I'm grateful. I am humbled, that people even desire to read what I write. And the book will come out. Y'all pray for me, because the enemy does not want the 365 days of inspiration to go forward. It is finished. I just need to edit what I need to edit and then get it to print. But there is always something. I'm about 25 pages from my dissertation. Y'all got to pray for me, because it's a struggle. It is a struggle, but I will do it. And I'm purposing to do this before the year is over. So pray with me, please. I appreciate you all. Your love and support is amazing. Thank you.
We will align our prayers with you. And you are armed with, and I am certain that Yvonne and Tia would agree. If you need them, they will be there for you.
Thank you.
Would you not agree, Yvonne?
Oh, yes, I'll be there for you. You are an amazing woman.
Thank you.
I love the love that you have for the Lord, what you're doing for mankind.
Yes.
And don't worry about the naysayers. Girl, publish that book.
Publish
Just
that
go
book.
on and get it done.
Tia, what would you say to Terry to further encourage her on her book? 365 inspirational moments. She inspires us every single day. And to hear her say what she did the morning the Lord called her husband home, I'm speechless. Tia?
Yes, that's quite inspiring to be going through that much grief at that time, but still not looking within, but you wanted to really help other people by getting the word out. So I know how difficult it can be, but you were thinking about others. And a lot of times that's how we heal, helping someone else. So that word is helping other people without you realizing who they may be. So that's the best way to kind of help yourself heal slowly. So that was amazing.
Thank
It
you.
is. And just know that we are all here. Sally, and what would you say to Terry Parker Rowe as an educator to encourage her to continue to move forward with her amazing gift?
Well, clearly God has purposed her and given her the unction and the purpose and the plan. And I always go back to one of my inspirations, the woman at the well.
Yes.
Where he told her to put the pot down and go tell the people about a man. And I believe that the pot is full of just the resources, the anointing, the power to do what God has given. Clearly, God is moving in your life. And so I just thank God. And it's interesting because you said the 365. Yes. And I do an annual
her story each March. And this year we said we wanted to add 365 because we are about our Father's business 365 days of the year, not just March, not just Women's History Month, but every day. And clearly God is, so I thank God for you. And I'm just looking and I was kind of, I need to get that book.
She really needs to just sign up to be a part
Absolutely.
of your
Definitely.
Facebook podcast. Listen, we're just gonna, they've actually already shared about their wisdom. I wanted to really ask you, like, you know what? And I'll start with, and I'll come back with the wisdom piece with you, Yvonne. I'm going to ask Tia. Tia, what makes you tick?
What makes me tick? And actually it changes as you get older, but right now, living life to the fullest.
Yes.
Girl, I promise. My mom is 79, and you know, with age, you lose certain abilities. And she had gone through about 6 months ago a lot of things with her heart, and had dialysis, and she's not remembering as much as she had before. So enjoying every day and living life to the fullest. I walk my dog. I have 2 golden doodles every day, and on that walk, I have my earbuds in, listening to the word, listening to gospel to get the day started. Because we need that encouragement, because it's so much coming against us. We have to make sure that we center ourselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? Get out there in the world. So that's what makes me tick. Enjoying life, seeing the birds fly, you know what I mean? Seeing a squirrel, a rabbit, all those little things. Like, thank you, Lord, for the power. You know? So that's what makes me tick.
I love that. Well, you can't tell us what makes you tick without telling us what ticks you off.
I love that.
And because we as women, we need to have a conversation. There's just some things that tick us off that you can share, of course.
Okay, what ticks me off? And I don't get ticked off often. I'm the, laid back, mild-mannered, don't say a lot, kind of person. But as an etiquette coach, when I see people just being disrespectful or inconsiderate, and sometimes on purpose, social media or out in public, it's just kind of ticks me off. Even though I don't retaliate in any kind of way, I pray for them, because you got to be something to act the way you're acting and doing the things you're doing. So just the little things like that, when people are not being their best selves, and that's probably why I got into this industry, to help people be nicer.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
That's what makes me off.
And as you look at the world going around today, I wish you could just have an ongoing class, because etiquette is something that can be taught on a daily basis. And I'm hoping that that's something that you're considering. So I'm going to segue over to Yvonne McShay. There's some things that tick her off. I've heard her share about her classrooms and how she has inspired students, but one student said, don't get on that other side. What would you like to share with us that will help us? Yes, and then reverse it.
For real, what makes me tick is when I'm talking with someone in conversation, although we always talk about how we have to be clear, people who don't answer questions, just a bunch of rhetoric and not saying anything. And we can't get any place by doing that. We have to, not always with unbridled energy, but we have to be sincere about what we're saying. And if you're going to take up someone's time to have a conversation, be honest and open. You don't have to tell all your business, but at least be, get that connection with the person. We communicate to make the connection. And so let's work on making that connection with one another and being more honest and open.
Okay, y'all hearing these C words. I know you have a play on the C words, but I'm hearing centered from Tia, so that you can balance out your life. And when we talk about just connecting with the person and value their space and value their time. Right. I would venture to say the opposite of that is what ticks you off. When they don't do it. Awesome. Let's see.
Terry, what would you say to that? And then we're going to hear what Dr. Sally has to say about ticking somebody off and what. Terry, are you there?
I am here. What
What
ticks
makes you
me,
tick, girl?
what makes me tick is people. People make me tick. My goal has always been not to please people, but to inspire and to encourage. And that drives me, it motivates me. And even in just general conversation or in counseling, when I see the tears, to fall, because I've hit it, I've reached it, and I always consult God on everything because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to, lead anybody astray. And so it drives me to do more and more of that. And that really, that's my motivation. My life has always been centered. The last 40 years of my life have been centered around husband and children. And so now I'm at a place where, what do I do for me? So I like what Tia said, I do enjoy the creation, God's creation, his creators, everything that he has made. I love the creator and everything that he has made. But now it's like, let me do me. Let me do things that I desire to do. And so I'm making a bucket list. I'm telling you, you got to look at 40 years consumed with other people. And now it's me. And so I'm making a bucket list. I started a bucket list last week because I was in a place where it's like, where do I go from here? I'm still doing what I've been doing, but I feel that something is missing. So thank you, Tia. I've started a bucket list and I'm going to begin to check it off and do some things that I want to do. I've never lived alone. I went from my parents' house to my husband. And so I'm still not alone. My 35-year-old still lives with us. And it's like, what do I do? I've never eaten at a restaurant alone. I've never gone to a movie alone. I have never done anything. I go to the mall, I go in one store, get what I want, come out, because I shared that with family. I shared it with my husband. So now it's me. And so I'm excited. I was a little, on the edge, like nervous because I've not done it. And my 30-year-old daughter said, Mom, live for you. You've done for us. You do for everybody. Live for you. Now I'm having a hard time, but I'm going to do it. I am. I'm going to do it. So you all are really helping me in this thing. I'm 61. God has been good. He has been great. And I am so thankful. I'm grateful to be 61 and still alive. I'm just really, I'm grateful. I am grateful.
But what 61 is very young. That's very
clearly. So a lot more living to do. I'm believing God for the 70, and if by reason of strength, the 80 and beyond. So I want to go to heaven and owe him change because I've lived beyond what he promised. And so I'm looking forward to that. And what ticks me off is when folk are not, and they are right up in here and they are not. Yes, ma'am. I'm very adamant about that. I live in a peaceful environment. I don't stress. I don't worry. I trust God. And so when people are not real, when it comes to me, I have a problem. Yeah. It really bothers me.
Right here.
But that's it. But I've learned how to take it to God in prayer and allow him to handle it. And I just still stay in a peaceful state because I love peace. I do. No confusion, just peace.
Well, I think, Dr. Sally, we've already heard words of wisdom for them. So now we want to hear about their entrepreneurial spirit. And before we even get into that, I do want to ask you one more question about that. And I'll start with you, Terry, and you kind of said some of it. What would you share using your life experiences with the next generation? What piece of advice would you share with them?
One of the main things, and I stress this, education is first and foremost. Get all the education you can while you can. I was pursuing masters and PhDs with a daughter that was in college, a husband that had open heart surgery, a daughter that was in middle school. I was pursuing that and having my own home daycare. So it was a lot going on for me. but hey, you do what you have to do. And of course, I went to USF. So I was back in the 80s in 1980 going to college without a family, which is a good thing, but get all the education that you can. But whatever you do in life, this is my thing, keep God first. It will work out. And it may not work the first time, and it may not work the way we feel that it should, but he causes all things to work together for good. I don't care what it is. I don't care how it looks. I don't care how it feels. It will work out for our good. And so even with this transition on the journey that I'm on now, God is still causing it to work together for my good. So I would encourage every young person. I don't discourage you from getting all that you can out of life, but fun will be okay in its place. Get that education. I don't play about school. That's one thing. I do not play about education. Learn to read. Come on. We have adult children that don't know how to read. I'm listening to them reading. It's like, really, where did you all go to school? Who taught you? Were you raised? Reading is fundamental. And I think it was Bill Cosby. If you don't want us to know anything, put it in a book, because our people will not read. And it is so important. Learn to read, just learn. Learn. And we're never too old to learn. Tia, thank you for that. We are never too old to learn. I'm still learning. I'm still growing.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Thank you so much. I know you're going to inspire so many women. For those of you who are listening in, please share this post. You want your children, you want your circle of young people to hear what this woman has to say. What I heard was no excuses.
Amen. Yes.
No excuses. Well, let's segue to Tia. What would you add to that?
I really liked everything you said, Terry. Yes, reading. And I wasn't an avid reader, but as I got older, I realized how important it was to continue to learn and grow and read. But one thing I would say is, for the younger folks, the next generation, get off the devices.
Come on. Yes.
Get off the devices. And stop posting everything. We know every little thing, from what you eat to what you're wearing to where you're going. It's just too much.
Come on.
And do something for somebody else.
Yes.
Go see your grandparents and give them a call. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Go and touch somebody and turn devices for a while. Do that. And then self-care. For all.
Yes.
We take care of ourselves. As a flight attendant, one of the things we say at every flight, if there's an emergency and decompression happens, put your mask on first.
Right.
You can't help nobody until you help yourself.
That's right.
That means getting your regular checkups and getting into church, praying. Whatever you need to do, you need to do that and make sure you're okay before anyone else is okay.
I love that. I love that. Be okay. Words of wisdom for our next generation, Yvonne McShay.
Well, you know what? My thoughts are right along with you all.
Yes.
And I wrote mine down last night.
That's classic McShay.
And it is urgent and important to have parent involvement. And number one, fall in love with reading. You think you've been in love with your boyfriend? Love him.
Got nothing on a good book.
He has nothing. Just know that he has nothing on a good book, but loves reading the same way. Why do you fall in love? You fall in love.
My husband over there. We are live streaming, ladies. My husband over there.
We're trying to figure out what Mario is doing. He is totally distracting us.
Yeah, I'm talking about. I have that effect. Go ahead on.
Oh, okay.
Listen, she does have that effect on him. I want young people to know that they have to read like their life depends on it.
Oh my.
I'm much older than the other two ladies and everybody in the room. However, there was something my father said to us when we were young, and I've never ever forgot it. And those words were, everything you need to know is in a book.
Yes.
So as a result, those 4 Mangrum children have always read, and we still read today. So fall in love with reading and read like your life depends on it. And like my sister said, reading is fundamental. So start with the books that are banned. So you'll be surprised. And so start with the books that are banned. If you don't have any money, you got money for everything else.
Isn't that the truth?
Order some books from offline for your children. Also, you have public libraries. And in most cities, they have 2 and 3 branch libraries. It's just no excuse. But again, parents, you're going to have a different responsibility with the way the state of Florida is going.
Wow.
Okay. Also, I'd like for you to learn to listen and to evaluate.
Okay.
Keep a journal. You know, it doesn't matter how you spell the words, spell them phonetically. Just write, get those feelings out on paper. And if you don't have a journal, just put it in a tablet or on a piece of paper and staple those sheets of paper together. Oftentimes, when you see what famous persons have done in the past, you see sheets of paper that they found someplace. You know, think about Zora Neale and how they found pieces of her papers.
Pieces of paper, napkins.
Napkins, business deals are done on napkins. And I would like for you to visit your local resources. I mentioned libraries before, but you can also go to your museums, your history and culture centers. And don't be afraid, my sister. Those are some of the things that you can do alone to build up your confidence. Read every night and learn the buzzwords. You'll hear people talking and see if those are buzzwords. And finally, know that you're brilliant.
Oh, yes.
Know that you're way smarter than you think you are. Know that nobody knows you like you know yourself. And don't be confused. You know, we all go through the same thing. You're not the only one going through that. So, but once you start reading and growing and getting that confidence, you'll find something different. And all of those experiences that you will have in life growing up will improve your emotional intelligence.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Thank you. We don't even want to segue to the business portion because of the wisdom that you all are sharing with our radio listening audience. Again, I say share, tag this post. Absolutely. What you are hearing, these nuggets of wisdom from the experiences of these phenomenal women. This is what you need to listen to when you think you're having a bad day. Right. But DJ CEO, he'll give us back our 10 minutes because we do have to hear from the entrepreneur side of these phenomenal women. But let's first segue over to Dr. Sally as a businesswoman, as an educator, as an avid reader. And if you guys are like me, I've been in a book club for over 40 years, multiple book clubs. And let me tell you, they are important. I mean, I was in one book club. We met on the second Saturday at 4 p.m. And when my family would plan outings, they'll say, what Saturday? Cheryl won't be here. She's going to book club. But you have to find that thing that allows you to be you and that brings you joy. And reading does that for me. Dr. Sally Stone.
Well, I tell you what, it's so amazing how God is able to take those different nuggets and tie it all together. And so for me, just listening to everything that's been said, the thing that comes to my mind is that we are a compilation of our experiences, our background, and who we are. So it's all about the story. It's all about our story. It's all about who we are, all about what we do and how we are intentionally designed to do the very best thing that God has purposed us to do. And so I love stories. And books are all about stories, about what people do and who they are. And it's important for us to be a part of the movement for women to tell our stories and to tell it well and tell it authentically
and to amplify our voice. And that's what being an entrepreneur is for me. That is what being an advocate, an educator, a wife, a sister, a mother, is understanding that when we share our stories, we pour into each other, and then we're able to extract out the very best that we have. And so being an entrepreneur for me is making sure that I provide that platform and what I've been purposed to do so that stories can be told. So I love this. I can sit and listen to Tia and to Terry and to McShay and, you know, Miss Yvonne and of course you, Sherryl, such a wealth of knowledge. You know, I could just sit and just soak it up. And that's what I'm doing. We can learn so much every time I sit with McShay. I have to call him McShay because we met at the college and we always call each other. She would call me Brisbane. Thankfully, I'm a stone now. But we have to be able to share our stories. And that's what, to me, it's all about. Connecting, collaborating, creating, and then celebrating our stories.
And this is why we collaborate at the Well. Tell us how the Well. Tell us about the Well.
The Well
how did it come to be?
Where we connect, we collaborate, we create, and then of course we celebrate.
And I say you come here to be a collaborator. You got to come to the Well to collaborate. That is great information. When is your book coming out?
You know what? I realized that I was already an author. My dissertation and my research.
That's right.
It is published, and my research is women in leadership, mentoring women.
I love it.
And an online collaboration. It all ties together. So I have to know that this was God purpose.
Yes.
But my focus was on women of color. So even when I was confirmed, it just makes sense. Yeah, we can't make this stuff up. God does things that's so amazing.
But what's really amazing is how he puts us together.
Yes.
He puts his girls together.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
Y'all heard that?
Because he knows we'll get it done.
Yeah.
We will always get it done. Isn't that right, Tia Young? Put a woman in charge.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Now you have the mic. Let's segue to you about your business. We've already heard the passion, and we can kind of see from all of your world travelers how you saw all of this coming into being. One of the things that went in following you, Tia, and because my kids went to the University of Florida, Gainesville, my uncle, the late Honorable Ed Jennings, was the mayor of Gainesville. His son, Ed Jennings Jr., was state representative. So we spent a lot of time in Gainesville. I actually had a shirt that said all of our money was at UF. But that being said, and you've been around students, but I think as you were talking about coming full circle, the college where she got her degree is where she also got to go back and do what, Tia Young?
Yes, absolutely. That was a 360 for me. You know, doing what I do, I love it. It's my passion. And so it's not like working. So you doing your passion and getting paid for it is what it's all about. So when I graduated from UF, first of all, I struggled through it. It wasn't easy. So, you know, sometimes we have to share and be vulnerable because people might be going through what we went through and they don't think they can get through. So understanding that it wasn't easy. It took me 5 years to graduate because I had to take classes over. So when I did finally graduate, I had no idea what I wanted to do for a living. I majored in communications, but got my BA and I was like, okay, I'm done. You know, I got my degree, didn't want to disappoint my mom and I was the first person to graduate from my family. So that was a big, honor. But a few years ago, because I do etiquette and I do for a lot of colleges and universities, they reached out blind, to me. I hadn't reached out to them. And we would love you to come teach etiquette, business etiquette for our business students to get their MBA. And that they're there and they have a luncheon and we want them to start out right, knowing how to represent themselves. And that I did it 3 times for UF. And it was such an honor to teach at a level above what I graduated in. I'm teaching, at my alma mater. So that was so much fun. But I got into etiquette because yeah, as you see behind me, the airplane, I love to travel still. You know, I flew for United for 14 years. The world, took my mom every year on her birthday. Mom, where you want to go? Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, Austria, okay. Rio de Janeiro, okay. You know, so every year we took a nice little trip just to give back to her. But I stopped flying because 9/11 happened. I was on maternity leave.
Wow.
2001, 7 months pregnant. And I had already been flying 10 years. So they cut a lot of jobs. I didn't lose my job because I had enough seniority. That's what it's all about. The longer you fly, the more seniority you have in getting and choosing your trips you fly. So I had Taylor in November, and then they offered voluntary furlough. I was on that for 4 years. So I never go back to flying because you know what? It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. It's like it just changed everything. Same thing at that time. So I decided to start my etiquette business. I saw an ad online, you know, become a certified coach. And my mom had always been that person, grace and just glamour and poise. That's who she was, who she is. And I just took that from her and expected the world to be nice. And they weren't. Flying around the world, you saw rude behavior. On the plane, you saw rude behavior. So I was like, why is everybody so rude? You know? So just like those pageant, you know, I did pageants as well, but answered those questions. Just want the world to be a better place, you know. So that's what I did for a living.
Beautiful.
Make the world a better place. And I recently did a TED Talk last year as well about etiquette.
Congratulations.
So one day, you know, and then wrote a book, you know, I wrote a book and I started a podcast. So just trying all of these new things as an entrepreneur. Of course, you have to do everything yourself as an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, that was the picture. I went back to help support this year's TEDx event. And that had a picture of me and a little banner of me from the year before. So just always wanting to be better and help other people be better as well. So that's my goal as an entrepreneur.
That's what you guys have been saying all along. Be better, be your best self. And then you're throwing in a whole bunch of C words, but I'm grabbing from you confidence. And so, Ricky, would you put up the copy of the cover of Tia's book? Tia, I can kind of see next to you. Go ahead and bring that forward because you couldn't have picked a better title. But tell us how you came up with the title.
It's called How to Navigate Premium Experiences with Confidence, Your Guide to Social Success. So what I've learned as my husband and I have climbed the ladder of success, so to speak, you know, everybody has their own definition of success, but making, you know, being more successful, making more money, being able to give, you know, to the community in all different ways. But we've experienced different things as we grew. So this book is just 12, the book is only 100 pages, but I'm so proud of it. I mean, it's short and sweet, but it's my book and I'm proud of it. And this chapter is about how to be better at the dining table, how to be better in family gatherings. If you're going to be on a yacht, how do you act? If you're going to a 5-star resort, how do you act? It's just moving up that ladder of success in any situation, business networking at the next level. Do you know what to do when you have an 8-course meal? Oh, yes. Stressed out, you know, so, you know, just teaching those things that people need to know before they get to that level or while they're at that level to get better, you know, so that's what it's all about.
And I like the word, the play on word, navigate, especially pulling that. Yeah, very intentional, very intentional. Thank you so much. We're going to segue to Yvonne McShay because she has 1 book, 2 book, 3 book, 4 books. And then you will continue to inspire Terry, who we know has finished her book. We know the title of her book. And listen, I do want you before we end, and Ricky will put the information in our thank you post. I want to make sure that our radio listening audience all over the world will know how to connect with you and also how to purchase your book. And Tia, because I thought you were coming here, we had a little space for you for tonight's event, but email us your QR code. We will have the cover and we'll put it on the author's table and certainly give you a shout out tonight. Yvonne McShay, 4 books. My favorite is My Mama Said. So pick a title and tell us why that title. Too many books.
What would you like me to do again? I'm sorry.
No, I want you to tell us, how did you come about the name of one of your books?
Okay, so my mama said, that particular year, Sal and I were talking about celebrating Women History Month, and we didn't get around to doing it.
Okay.
And so I thought, Sally, Mother's Day is coming up. And I had, maybe 6 or 7 months yet. And so I sent out a little survey and I asked people to participate and share with the audience that I told them that I wanted to write a book and compile their nuggets and principles that their mothers had taught them to celebrate Mother's Day. And that's what we did. And so that is really a special book, my mama said. One phrase per page.
One phrase. Did
phrase.
You hear that, Tia?
One phrase per page. But if it's your mother, that should be your page. And you didn't have, there was no backstory, just that nugget or the principle. For an example, one young man said to me, all that were also guys who participated in that project. And one guy said to me, and I never forgot it, and I often use it. He said that his mother said to him, to them, there were 3 children, sometimes you have to hit people with an element of surprise. I thought, wow, sometimes you have to hit people with an element of surprise. Now think about what that might mean to you. Another young lady said, her mother told her, honey, she's every time when she thought she was grown, her mother would say, honey, you ain't grown. You're not grown until you buy your own clothes. You're not grown until you start paying your own bills. You're not grown until you start buying the groceries. And so until you do that, you aren't grown. I thought, wow, that's one way to get them in shape. So I love it. That's all from my mama said.
My mama said, get a copy of the book.
Right. My local history book, Our Lakeland, was so important because that was really my first.
You know how you have people talking to you, so we're getting ready to wrap up.
Wrap it up. So it's good. I mean, it's hard not
so
to.
It is.
The four titles again. His first was a reading book published by my cousins in Daytona Beach, the Wester brothers.
Oh, we have it on camera.
My other 3 books are self-published, which requires a lot of work and a lot of money, but then all the money is yours too when you finish with the sales. So Our Lakeland on Dennis Water Avenue are your prepositional phrase, and my mother said.
My mother said. We have been putting, thank you. All of your covers have been up. So when you go back to see the replay of the show, you'll be able to see each book. All of our guests also have Facebook pages, and we will certainly make sure that either their QR codes or their links to their websites will be available to you. I don't know where the time goes when we do this show. I wish we continue on. Perhaps there'll be a part 2, because I think it's important. I think it's important for you all to share with us publishing. And my son keeps saying, Mom, when are you writing your book? Mom, when are you writing your book? I have to remind him, I'm already a publisher. I published DSI Black Pages for years. I publish a book every year. Yeah, where is that cover? Where is that cover? I am a publisher. Yeah, that part. But listen, we do want to hear from, as we begin to wrap up, we do want to hear from Terry. Terry, you've gleaned a lot of information from life and life experiences from the 2 guests. Actually, now let's call, she's not a guest. Dr. Sally is my co-host and my friend. What would you say? Your title was pretty easy because you communicate with us every day, 365, and you've done it for years. Terry, tell us about the name of your book. And while we have you on the mic, will you go ahead and give your final thoughts and just simply answer the question, what you are most proud of? Terry Parker Rowe.
Thank you so much. My book, 365 Days of Inspiration, is kind of self-explanatory. I just want to inspire men and women, boys and girls of all walks of life every single day of the year, because we all go through things and we're all facing things. And I don't know what you're going through. You don't know what I'm going through, but what I am aware of is that whatever it is that I send out to inspire, it comes back. If it only reaches one person out of 1,000, I have done what I believe the Lord is pleased with. Because, you know, some plant, some water, but God will give the increase. So I may not be able to reach everyone. Everyone may not even like to read what I write. But if one person is inspired and encouraged, and I've kept them from committing suicide, or I've kept them from really going off the deep end, that is what I desire to do. And I've talked to many that said, oh my God, I was at a place, but I read this. And sometimes it's not the message that I post that day. It happened to come into their feed from maybe 2 years ago. And they said, but that's what I needed today. So if I can help somebody, and I know they pinned the words to this song as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I can show a traveler that they're traveling on, that my living shall not be in vain. And I don't want to go to heaven full. I want to go to heaven empty, because I've poured out everything that God has given me. And so I've gotten something from every single one of you today that is going to motivate me and help me to move forward in this new journey of my life. So I'm so excited. And you can see I'm passionate about the word of God, and I'm passionate about God's people. That's my life. That is my life.
That is awesome. Tia, we're going to come to you with your final thoughts, and then why don't you tell us what you're most proud of? Thank you so much, Terry Pacaro. I love you. Actually going to steal that. I want to get to heaven and be empty.
Yes.
That should be your next book. Well, I'm going to be using that coming forward. Tia Young, thank you for joining us today. What are you most proud of?
Oh my goodness. First of all, these connections here today, I look forward to getting to know all of the ladies here better. And I just love those genuine connections, people that you can rely on, that you can call and are there for you, or pray for you, whatever it may be. But what I want to leave behind is surround yourself with people that you can glean from, but also people that you can pull up to help. Because we're always kind of that, like if there's 5 people, you're kind of in the middle. So people that you're looking up to that can mentor you, but also people that you can mentor, that you can help get where you are. So always continue to help others while you're getting helped as well.
Amen. Amen.
I love that. I love that. That's how you balance out. Final words, and then what would you like to share? Your best, you're most proud of, Dr. Sally Stone.
I think the thing that I'm most proud of is being able to take those things that we thought would break us and use them to make us into what we know God is purpose with doing. It's not easy when you know, are faced with what seems to be insurmountable, you know, challenges. But I believe, and my quote, and my final words would be this, is that I will be successful, because the fire that burns on the inside of me is much greater than the fires that could ever surround me.
She said it so eloquently. Thank you, my co-host, Dr. Sally Stone. Thank you to the love of her life, Mr. Mario Stone, who's been over there acting up, knowing we were live. Thank you.
You got excited about love.
Didn't he? You got it started. Thank you, author Yvonne McShay, Professor Emeritus. Thank you, Mrs. Tia Young. Thank you, Mrs. Terry Rowe. I love all of you. I have loved what you have attributed to this conversation. If I had to share something that I'm most proud of, it was that God blessed me to give back to this world 3 beautiful children that I birthed, and that's Rocky, Yannick, and Alana. And then to our blended family, to Mother, Uwisa, and Shermie. He allowed me to do that. So what I do, I give back.
You do.
The Bible says give, and it shall be given to you.
Yes. Yes.
Good measure. I don't even need to tell you the rest. To DJ CEO, thank you for your patience. To my admin, Ricky, thank you for helping us to work it all out. But in the end, I'm blessed. I have been so moved by each of you. Terry, you know I'm where I am. My husband was a candidate for open heart surgery, but they rejected him 3 times. But
God. But
is,
God.
so you all know that I'm now the woman of impact and advocate for the American Heart Association. Tia can speak to that because of what she's going through with her beautiful mother, Joyce Austin. I thank you all. To all of you who are survivors, take what these ladies have said. Be centered with your exercise and your balance. You heard Tia say that. Make the connection with people. You need people that's going to be in your balcony, but listen, you also need people down there on the mezzanine level. So don't ever forget from whence you've come. And for that, I say thank you to all of you. Join us back next week when we will be all up in your business blueprint. Look forward to seeing these ladies again. We'll be celebrating National Black Business Month, and we want all of their books. I told Terry, her book has to be out. Her book has to be out by August, so we will pray and agree. Did you all hear that? She wants you all to come to the well and bring all your books and talk around the round table. Thank you to my husband, Reverend Alan Cusseaux Sr. I love you to forever, because we both will go to heaven empty. Love you all. This show is
Love you too. All right. Bye-bye.
And we have gifts for all of you all, but you have to come to the well and get them.
Thank you. Bye-bye.